Just stay right up there with you. Oh, okay, yeah.
Deer, the whole 9 yards. And the whole city.
I think they're more near in town than out in the country.
All right, we ready?
Yes, sir.
Good. A special good evening to each of you and welcome, if you will, to our regular board meeting of the Edgecombe County Board of Education, June 19, 2023. Please stand, if you will, join me as we pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please stand, if you will, for a moment as we pay deference to two of a former coach who passed recently, and then one of our 9th grade students at Tarver High who passed yesterday. Please bow a moment of silence for their memory of them. Amen. You may be seated. And for those who are looking, Brian Parisher was the former coach who passed recently, and Xavier Jones, 9th grade at Tarver High School, passed on yesterday. Let us keep those families in our thoughts and prayers, if you will. At this particular point, I'd be remiss if I did not recognize not new to the system, but new to a position, Mr. Saeed Murphy, who's our Family Resource Coordinator. Saeed, stand and let people see you. And he wouldn't say it tonight, but I'm saying it for you. He will be in touch with you all to help him. Thank you. All right, the public is invited to attend the board meeting via the link provided, YouTube. Item number 2. The approval of the agenda. You've received the agenda, had an opportunity to look at it. Are there any corrections, additions, deletions to it?
I do have 2 items. Item 8.14B, ECPS fiscal year 2023-2024 child care plan options, and 8.15B, approval of the service provided by the Abbott Center as a sole source for registration costs for Abbott Summer Institute. And we'll talk about those.
Okay. You've heard the additions or the amendments to the agenda as presented. Are there any other additions or deletions? Hearing none, do we hear a motion to accept it as amended?
Mr. Chairman, I offer a motion to accept our June 19th, 2023 agenda as amended.
Second.
There has been a motion and properly second for the approval of the amended agenda of June 19, 2023. You've heard that motion and second. And further discussion or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor let it be known by using the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposers like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. Item number 3.1. Recognition Employee of the Month.
Good evening, Mr. Board Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Bridges. I'm excited to announce the Employee of the Month for June. I'm excited to announce the Employee of the Month.
There's an old one.
Yeah, I'm excited to announce the Employee of the Month for June. Alyssa Stafford is a history teacher at Southwest Edgecombe High School. According to Principal Dr. Laura Lampron, Mr. Stafford consistently goes above and beyond to provide her students with rich and engaging learning experiences. Her passion for the subject matter is evident in her ability to make complex historical events come alive in the classroom. Her commitment to her students' success is unparalleled, as she spends countless hours outside of regular school hours to provide additional support and guidance. Her students consistently rave about her teaching style and credit her for their newfound love and appreciation for history. Congratulations to Alyssa Stafford, the ECPS Employee of the Month for June.
And
also like to present a gift card from State Farm Insurance Agent Greg Sessoms for this day. And also from Southwest Edgecombe, we have tonight with us Miss Sandra Langley, who will come forward. Earlier this year, Southwest Edgecombe High School coach Sandra Langley became the new all-time winningest high school basketball coach in North Carolina. Her 819th win came after a victory over Tarver High School. She became the school's coach during the 1978-79 school year when West Edgecombe and South Edgecombe merged into Southwest Edgecombe High School, and she has been the school's only girls basketball coach the school has ever had. She has a long list of accomplishments, including induction into the Barton College Hall of Fame in 1992, induction into the Twin Counties Hall of Fame in 2005, and the winner of the Charlie Adams Distinguished Service Award. She is the only coach to be named the North Carolina Coach of the Year by the Associated Press 4 times. Ms. Langley has recently retired after over 48 years of service. We are thankful of her dedication and commitment to the students of Edgecombe County over the years, and we congratulate her on an incredible career as the all-time winningest North Carolina High School Athletic Association coach. Congratulations. Not registered to play basketball.
But when I saw her tonight, guess what she said? I only have 4 more months before her 6 months is over. This is the spirit we want people.
She's still recruiting. At the Summer Leadership Conference, one of my alums from Fayetteville State said he came down with Bartlett Yancey to play you this year in the first round. He said, I walked into the fabulous Sandra Langley gym. I said, but you smiled when you left, right? Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Item number 4, public comment. I do hold the sheet. No one has signed up, and so we move from there actually to item number 5, the approval of the open session minutes. And we have several. First one being February the 14th, 2023, special call meeting work session. You've had an opportunity to look at those minutes. Then the corrections, deletions, or improvement, additions to them. Hearing none, do we have a motion to accept them?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second for the approval of the February the 14th, 2023 special call work session minutes. You've heard that motion and second. Any further discussion or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Those with like sign? Ayes have it, and that motion carried. April 25th, 2023, the joint session between Edgecombe County Board of Ed and Edgecombe County Board of Commissioners. You've had an opportunity to read those as well. Are there any corrections, deletions, or omissions? Hearing none, do we have a motion to accept them?
So moved. Second.
You've heard the motion and second for the approval of the April 29th, 25th, 2023 joint meeting. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye. Aye. Those with like sign? Ayes have it, and that motion carried. May 8, 2023, the regular business open session minutes. You've had an opportunity to read those. Are there any corrections, deletions, or omissions to them? Hearing none, do we hear a motion to accept them?
So moved. Second.
Motion and second for the approval of the May 8, 2023 regular business meeting minutes. You've heard that motion. Second, those in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye. Aye. Opposers like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. May 25th, 2023, personnel minutes of the open minute session. You've had an opportunity to read those as well. Are there any corrections, deletions, or omissions to those minutes? Hearing none, do we hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. You've heard that motion and second for the approval of the May 25th personnel minutes. Those in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye. Aye. Opposers, like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. May 25th. You got something?
I'm good.
Okay, all
I'm
right.
catching up.
Okay, all right.
I
You good?
had to step out. I'm
I
sorry.
understand. All right, here we are. 6.1 school updates, Dr. B.
Absolutely. So you have a handout, front and back, and just a little information regarding school updates. On the front, you see that there was a virtual academy peer information session today. There were 2 of them held virtually, 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. And we just, again, the application window for virtual school will open this week and run through July 13th. So just FYI, 2 parent meetings. The second was a Connecting in North Carolina tour visit from NC State. They came to Princeville Elementary School. Susan helped to arrange this visit. We had a great visit. I shared information as well as Aaron Swanson, and Ms. Mercer did a little information session regarding Princeville and kind of the history of Princeville. Great tour, great to have them in-house. People, of course, are always impressed and pleased with Princeville, and we were glad to have them be a part of our community. At the bottom, you see the Twin County Education and Business Leaders Summit. That will be on September 13th. From 8 to 11, Nash Community College. We have this every year, but this is the date, so you can go ahead and calendar. On the back, you see some recommended changes for tutor pay and stipends. We have not changed our tutor pay or stipends in probably a decade, and so we needed to make some adjustments here. You see the tutoring rate, you see the stipend rate, you see curriculum development product rate, and you also see if our assistant principals are working on Saturday. Read the details. We can certainly discuss this during closed session if there's any details that you want more information about, but I wanted to make you all aware. It was just really time for us to make that adjustment and increase the hourly rates for those out.
Questions, comments? Okay, maintenance update, Mr. Perkins.
Good evening, Board Chair, Madam Board Chair, Board members, Superintendent of Business. This is top of high switch gear. To change out, is it doing? This is the switch gear. This is some of the generation that we're doing. This is where they're taking out the wall. You can see it from both sides. Let's get another angle of looking at the switch here. This is the transformer that they have to take up. West Middle and Carver line, the work started today. We started to put those lines up today. Both, they will be finished by the end of the week. Southwest Edgecombe elevator, it has been completed, that work. And that was our call, snap down to Coca and Stocks panel, that has been completed. Fire marshal has been inspected and everything.
They say thank you.
Yes. Thank y'all. Coca Elementary, this is the canopy. This didn't have a canopy, we put one out there. This is the form picture. And this after. Okay. Thank y'all.
Mr. Perkins, the switch gear at Tarver High, the one that we've been talking for about over the years, and that there are no parts to it.
Yes, sir.
So how long will the school be down for that work? Approximately.
July 31st. They should have everything back up and running.
And that has nothing to do with the whole street out there being dug up. That's the
No,
water system.
no.
They match.
No,
Both
sir.
shut down at the same time.
No, sir.
And that's good. Yeah.
Can you just briefly tell us what that means when you change that out?
What do you mean?
When you change the switch box over, what?
Oh, I'm sorry. It controls all the power
All
to the
the
building.
power in it.
Yes, ma'am. It controls all the power to the building. So, any parts go out in that switch gear. By then, so
Right.
we're done.
Does that mean you're rewiring some of the rooms or just
No,
replacing that one big unit?
I'm sorry. That great big unit. That's all we're doing. Everything is the same. We're just taking it out, putting it back, and rewiring it.
And everything has to be rewired back into that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm interested in stuff like that.
Yes,
I'd just
ma'am.
like to understand
Yes, ma'am.
what that means. Thank you.
And so the kickoffs that we've been having over there, once that gets in, it'll be a lot better.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Kick it out and kick it out and kick it out. So
Yes, sir. It should be fine, but we got the contract on speed out. We gonna make sure we take care of it.
These people are under contract, these people are under warranty.
Yes, yes.
Is this kind of like a fuse box in a house, but bigger, or is it something different?
No, it's totally different.
That's-
Yes, ma'am. But they have not few bucks. They have a big panel that they're taking out.
Right.
It's in there, but it's not a fuse. It's got
Like panels, like a switch panel, like a
yeah,
panel box in a
has
house?
breakers in there.
A break, okay,
Yeah, so they have
gotcha.
to take those breakers out too.
Okay.
And then they have to rewire all that back up too.
So is this a larger unit than we had?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. That's why we had to take that wall out and get it in there.
And when I say larger, that means more electricity in it, or just
I think it's the same. It
same,
just,
same
it
voltage?
just, yes, ma'am, same voltage,
Yeah.
but it just a whole lot bigger, that's all. Matter of fact, the panel that we have is down at our shop, so they should be, putting it there, when they next week, once they finish all the demolition. Get it back up.
I'm doing a lot.
So that we're hoping that this, and I see in our booklet that we're gonna, the town of Tarver, they will be back up and running before that 4th of July thing, right?
Yes, yes. Oh. July first. No.
They're gonna do fireworks out there in the stadium.
The football stadium power is still on, so the
Yes.
field house is still on and power still is out there.
This is just to the building.
Okay.
Yes,
This is
yes,
just
sir.
to the building.
I didn't
Okay.
understand your question. Well,
Okay,
this is
all
just to the
right,
building.
okay.
The front side, matter of fact, we got a little power, in the back of the building too.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
I just wondering, because they want to prove something we couldn't do it.
Yeah. No, we just,
Town on our back.
matter of fact, where it's at, it's, located, right behind the cafeteria.
Okay.
So that's where it's, the switch gear is at.
Any other questions for Mr. Perkins? Mr. Perkins, thank you all for all that you are doing,
Thank you.
and keep making us look good.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Item number 7. Committee reports. All right, 8.1A, consent items.
I have a A, UW Carver Elementary School submitted a donors choose sing play grant application in the amount of $5,750.88. You have the one pager, and then you have the adjoining documents behind it where the grant has been written with additional detail. That this is a donors choose is to support teachers and students providing a web accessibility open to every public school in America to submit a classroom project request. And at Harvard, they have submitted one. It's the purchase of ViewSonic view board, smart board that will be used with musical instruments and play along videos. And again, additional information is in your board book. If you have questions, please let me know. I'll do my best to answer those.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, move to 8.2A. Hey.
Greetings, Board Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Board members, Superintendent Dr. Bridges. Tonight, the Technology Department requests Board approval to submit a COPS, and I'm going to ask you to correct something. It's an SVPP for School Violence Prevention Program. I'm sorry about that typo, but it's SVPP. Okay? So the Technology Department requests Board approval to submit a COPS SVPP grant proposal application to the Department of Justice in the amount of $628,965. The purpose of the COPS SVPP grant is to provide funding for school security. This grant application will focus on upgrading security cameras, hardware, and software for 6 of our schools. We wish we could have done all of them, but we reached a grant limitation with 6. These include Southwest Edgecombe High, Tarboro High, W.A. Patillo Middle, South Edgecombe Middle, G.W. Carver Elementary, and Stocks Elementary. Combined, these schools have 313 faculty members and staff serving 2,799 students. This grant will cover 75% of the total grant request, with the remaining 25% to be allotted from Technology State PRC 015 and local capital outlay. You have a breakdown behind your board document sheet of what that 25 and 75% looks like.
Questions or comments? Anything on the horizon for the other schools?
Yes, we're working with trying to get north now before the start of the school year, hopefully. Trying to get cameras ordered before the end of June and maybe installation in July or August. So they'll take care of that school. Hopefully we get this grant and we're able to service these 6 schools, and then maybe reapply next year for the COPS SVPP grant for the remaining schools. So this was like tier 1, what we could do with grant money we were allotted, if we get it.
I like the bow tie.
Well, thank you. This is a big special. I made it today.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, 838.
3A. We just mentioned this. This is the town of Tarboro requesting board approval to use our high school football field and parking lot on July 4th from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. to conduct the town's annual July 4th fireworks display, and also on July 5th from 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. to clean up. This request exceeds a single use of 6 hours. They will be requesting no charge for the use of the school facility through the joint use agreement between the town of Palmer and the Edgecombe County Public Schools. Again, you see the adjoining documents on this request. The letter was October 7th, 2022, and then you see the application also in that board.
Questions or comments?
I think we cleared up the power.
Dr. B, I had a question. Is this a longstanding event that has happened? Okay. And I just didn't know, and you all can still approve it tonight if you want to consider an MOU with the town, just given the risk. Like one thing I would want to see, I think, is the board being added in to ensure, just in case there was any potential damage to school property. It's optional, but I just wanted to put it.
So do we need to wait or just go ahead with our approval?
You all could still approve it and authorize the board of training to go to an MOU. It's optional, but just given the high risk, I wanted to flag it. Something like fireworks.
In the documents, it has a certificate of liability insurance, but maybe in the future to do an MOU. Okay, thank you.
All right, other questions or comments? Hearing none, we need one consent for the, one motion for all of the items presented.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve the consent items as presented.
Second.
Motion and second for the approval of the consent items as presented. You've heard that motion and second. Any further discussion, questions, or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor let it be known by using the voting sign aye. Opposed, like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. Item 8.1B.
Ms. Powell, she'll come forward for approval of the budget amendment number 2 to fiscal year 22-23.
County, Board Chair, Reverend Privet.
Yes.
Assistant Board Chair to the Board Superintendent, Dr. Rivers. Coming to you today to ask for approval of budget amendment number 2, just to bring attention to, this is the second budget amendment that I'm bringing forward to you this school year. Granted, the first one came in January, and that was through DPI's adjustments of number 36. This one is through adjustment number 53. I will be back before you at the next meeting for the end of the year budget adjustments. So if you go through and look, you do have some of the differences from the first one in January to this one will include an increase in the state public funding. You'll notice on this one, the local current expense, it's a net change. With that being said, most of the changes have to do with the rearrangement of the budget from where it was initially appropriated in the beginning of the year to now. And also with the federal grants on the beginning budget, it was only through, again, number 36, and we've caught it up. So the net budget amendment is an increase of a little bit under $2 million from the January presentation to this one.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, do we hear a motion? Yes, sir. A motion by Board Member Johnson, second by Board Member I'm sorry, it didn't come out. You've heard that motion and second. Is there further discussion? Questions for unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by the sign aye. Aye. Opposers, like sign. Ayes have it, that motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, 8.2B.
Approval of Edgecombe County Board of Education business and conference meeting schedule for fiscal year 23-24. And if you look in the board book, you'll see the list of conference dates and the details around those conferences. The board shall provide for such meetings as authorized by law and assess the efficient and proper operations of the school system. We always give advance notice of 48 hours. All citizens are welcome to attend the board meeting. Our meetings on the second Monday of each month, and they are generally at Pearl Street at 6:30. If changes are needed or made, we will make those announcements as well. And we always post an agenda for the public's review. Questions?
Questions? I did check the dates, and they're all good. Any other further discussion or questions? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve?
I also motion to approve the board meeting schedule for 2023-2024. Second.
Motion second for the approval of the board member schedule for 2023-2024. You've heard that motion second. Any further discussion, questions, or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by using the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposers, like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. 8.3B.
This is a request for the board to approve the agreement between North Carolina School Board Association and Edgecombe County Board of Education for custom policy update services for the 23-24 school year in the amount of $6,900. We know that North Carolina School Board Association will assist the board and ECPS by providing professional services to draft, revise, and regularly update our standard school board policies based on policies to lead schools manual. Any questions or concerns?
Is this about what it was last year?
Yes.
Other questions or comments? Hearing none, do we have a motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
Motion and second for the approval of the agreement between Edgecombe County Board and the North Carolina State Board of Education. You've heard that motion and second. Any further questions or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by using the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposers, like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. 8.4.
Again, requesting board approval of the lease agreement between the Boys and Girls Club of Fall River and the Edgecombe County Board of Education at Stocks Elementary School for the 23-24 school year. The club is managed by the Boys and Girls Club of the Charter of the region and supervised by Edgecombe County Public Schools. This organization has grown to serve thousands of children between the ages of 5 and 18, and they are in 3 locations: Tarboro, Rocky Mount, and Nashville in the Twin Counties. And you see the lease agreement. It is the same that we've used for a number of years, and they have been a good partner for us.
I've not heard any rumblings around the town about it. Must be doing well. Have you heard anything, Dr. B?
I haven't heard anything from our staff members. There have been some concerns with kind of when they come in and they do their reports. We're continuing to work on that and kind of update things as needed.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we still located in the gym area?
We use the gym area, but we
That's
also
what
use
you're
classrooms.
using? Okay.
We also use classrooms.
All right. Okay. I did not hear any disgruntled as I normally hear from our community. So I did not hear any at the last meeting. Is anyone on the board on that committee now? I know at one time you were. I've been on it since 2006. So you're still on it? Yes, I am. I just think it's important we always have our foot on that committee. Yes.
Mr. Green is normally, I don't see him, so this is not here. Okay, normally Mr. Green is here, but he's not here today.
Oh.
All right, you've heard that presentation. Do we have a motion?
Offer motion that we approve our lease agreement between the Boys and Girls Club of the Tar River region and Edgecombe County Board of Education at Stocks Elementary School for the school year 23-24.
Second.
There has been motion and second for the approval of the lease agreement between the Boys and Girls Club of the Tar River region and the Edgecombe County Board of Ed. You've heard that motion and second. Any further questions, discussion, or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by using the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. 8.5B, Ms. Hedgepath. Dr. B, I was out at the symphony the other night, probably about 8:30, and I parked over there by the Bridges building, and this lady was just leaving the building. I said, what in the world is that working this late? And it was Mrs. Hedgepath. I just wanted to put that plug in. We don't have any money, but we'll just... She was just leaving by 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Good evening.
Yes, ma'am.
Board Chair Reverend Privet, Assistant Board Chair, and Dr. Bridges, and all members, and everybody that's here tonight. I want to give you all an update on what the Career and Technical Education Program has been doing this year, and where we're going to move for our local plan next year. And this is just our vision and mission. And it's what we do on a daily basis and how we do it, through hands-on, real-world learning, soft skills, work-based learning. We are implementing more and more work-based learning as we go along. We've been doing job shadowing. When I got here, it was basically just job shadowing. Now we're doing job shadowing, mentoring, internships, and apprenticeships. And we just were approved through NC Apprenticeship for our early childhood pre-apprenticeship program. We're also working on several different credentials, and you'll see later in the slides what teachers have really been working on credentials and done well. But we offer all of those that you see listed. The Certified Nursing Assistant one, we have to offer that through the community college for lack of teacher. Our vision is once again just to integrate rigorous classroom instruction with relevant work-based learning experiences. And again, we do that on a daily basis, in the classroom, out of the classroom, bringing people in, visiting different places, doing it virtually. However we can possibly integrate work-based learning experiences, we do that on a daily basis. And we're trying to make them employable and have technical skills as well, and bridge the academics with all of that. So here's our pathways for North Edgecombe. When I got here, we had 2 pathways, actually 3, animal science and plant systems, but I look at those as one for agriculture. And food and nutrition was here the first year, left, but now it is back and thriving, and we've also added computer engineering. And next year we'll add horticulture to landscaping. That serves as a 4th math and an honors class. And as you see in the computer engineering pathway, all of the classes except for the foundation class are honors. So the children can get that rigor as well as do work-based learning and hands-on experiences. This is just a sample of what Miss Andrews does in the food and nutrition class. Everybody thinks it's just cooking, but if you look on the left-hand side, they literally drew out the digestive system, because you might cook, but where is that food coming from? And that's where Mr. Barnes comes in the agriculture pathway. And how does that food get to your table? Once it gets to the table, where does it go once it goes in? So it's big on nutrition. And if you look all the way to the right, that young lady is not only making something, but she's using a recipe. So she's using math skills and literacy skills. In the middle, that was donated through Donors Choose. And I can't even think what it's called. Yes, thank you. I don't drink coffee or espresso, any of that. But they are able to use that and learn. It's actually so they can learn how to be a barista. Even though that's not part of the curriculum, she integrates that through her Career and Technical Student Organization, which is Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, or FCCLA. And they do that through their power time in their daily schedule. Here you have Mr. Phipps in his computer engineering. I put the picture to the left because that is one of our big donors. We met him through NCBCE, which is North Carolina Business something education. It's through the governor's office, but they have every year we get about $150,000 worth of equipment from them. So the left-hand side, that is the owner of YCM Solutions, and he wanted to personally bring Mr. Epps his equipment. In the middle, the young man that's at the laptop, he learned how to use that platform, so he was teaching the other students how to use it so that they can eventually fix the computers on the right. So on the right-hand side, they're literally fixing desktops. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Hayes, most of the laptops that were fixed this year were through his student-run help desk?
So all the teacher laptops in the district that were, we'll call them almost out of commission, we were able to refurb them through NCBCE donations, and now they're pretty much like new laptops that once the students went by and added new memory, new RAM, new hard drives, and we were able to give those to our student support staff in the building. So they have pretty much a brand new laptop too. Yep.
So that's at North Edgecombe, but they service the district. And Mr. Hayes probably doesn't know this. I will also have another computer science teacher at Southwest next year, who will also do hardware, software, networking, a whole lot of different things. Everybody loves animals, and it's very evident with the students when they go to Mr. Barnes' class. They completely stay engaged. That is one of our new goats on the left. And then on the right, those young men are helping Mr. Barnes fix the enclosure for the chickens. So any enclosure that's out there, Mr. Barnes and the students have built. And Mr. Barnes was our Teacher of the Year at North Edgecombe this year. In the middle is a picture, we were doing a door decorating or bulletin board contest about career development week. And he was the winner at North Edgecombe, and he used FFA attire to dress the mannequin. On the right, Miss Joel, our curriculum instructional management coordinator, is giving him the award for that. And on the left, that's his award for being selected Teacher of the Year. Our pathways at Southwest are, as you know, a lot larger because I have 10 CTE teachers at Southwest. Our newest pathway would be project management. Project management will serve as the basis. Prior to them going to the community college, they will take project management 1, project management 2, whether they're going into construction, electrician, automotive, if you name it, whatever pathway they want to seek at the community college, we're going to encourage them to take our pathway for project management. If they want to do, say, cosmetology, they would go through the financial planning so that, because eventually, or entrepreneurship, once they get their license, they're now an entrepreneur. So we're encouraging them to go through our pathways first and then on to the community college. And we've really built a relationship with the community college. And we thank them for our welding lab that has continued to grow. I think that's all that's new on this side. Counseling and mental health was new this year, and it has really taken off. The students even did very well in their certification, which is pre-professional assessment, and it's an overall broad family and consumer science credential. Child development as well. Everybody wants to be in child development. And as I spoke before, we have that North Carolina pre-apprenticeship. So we're seeking now students that want to go into the pre-apprenticeship that have already completed our pathway. And computer science would be a new one for Southwest. When we did the door decorating contest, you can't see. The top part actually says the places you will go in family and consumer science. So I put on the left-hand side where the students went to Nash Women's Center. And Miss Jones is really good with getting our students out and seeing what the workforce is in all of her pathways, because she teaches counseling and mental health and the early childhood pathway. On the right, those students were at the library. They actually read to the students in story time and then created those little arts and crafts handouts. Still at Southwest, Miss Amber Davis was our teacher of the year, new teacher of the year at Southwest. And on the right, she's pictured with one of her FFA students. They held a curriculum night, and our career development coordinator, Miss Applewhite, spearheaded that at Southwest this year. So the 8th graders from South and West middle schools were able to come to find out what the pathways are, so that their parents will be enlightened as to what pathway they should go and what courses they would need. But it was also open to 9th through 12th grade as well. And these are pathways at Tarboro High. They may change, and all of our pathways change due to lack of instructors or getting someone that has a different credential or different license than what we were already offering. So that's why sometimes there's a slight difference from year to year. I try to stay within what we've been doing so the students can become completers, but if I don't have a teacher, and healthcare is a big one that is very hard to fill. But hopefully we will fill that this week. We actually have an interview this week, as well as I'm meeting with Vidant, ECU Vidant in Tarboro. They may actually lend one of their nurses. We will pay them, and then they would pay the difference in what they would be making as a nurse. So hopefully that partnership will pay off. If not, hopefully I can find someone so we can keep healthcare. Because that is one of our top 3 needs in the area. And that's only, everything else is the same at Tarboro. Here's a picture. On the left, they went to not that group that's on the right, but another group, went to ECU, to their School of Hospitality, and that falls along with our sport and event marketing classes and hospitality and tourism. So Mr. Bess, our work-based learning coordinator there, took a group to ECU. He also had this group come together on the right, and this was Healthcare Week. So through the CTE month, he had a different pathway, speakers from different pathways come in and meet with the children and talk to them, and the children could ask whatever questions they had. Many of them were very interactive and hands-on, but this particular one was health science. This is just the bill for computer science, and I don't expect you to read all that. But just showing why I'm adding computer science, but just so you know, even though that's required from middle school and high school, by the time you graduate that a child have a computer science course, the classes we're already offering fall under that. So Python would fall under that, computer engineering, Adobe, digital design and animation. So we're already covered very much so on the high school level, but Mr. Phipps will be split next year between Phillips and North Edgecombe. So he will be able to touch the ones in the middle school as well. And this is a picture that you all posted of the teachers that were given a bonus based on the legislation for, in our case, for the CTE teachers for credentialing. So Mr. Fennell, who's not in the picture, he certified students in Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. Ms. James at Southwest certified students in Serve Safe Food Handlers and Managers. And Mr. Phipps certified students in IT Fundamentals Plus. And all of these are adult credentials, where a lot of adults can't pass them. So it says a lot that the students have been able to pass them. And we have teachers credentialing in other areas as well. The CPR, that's in health science and early childhood. But not every certification in CTE earns a bonus for the teachers. So that's why it's only 3 represented in this picture. But our credentials have doubled since last year. So that is a very big thing, and that shows that the teachers are working and the children are working as well. Because some teachers, especially like Ms. James, not only does she have to give the certification, but she has to give the state exam as well. Once again, we did Employer in the Foyer with STEP, and it was a big success. We've already had success stories from North Edgecombe. A young lady received a job with the town of Tarboro, and another young lady received a job at the event center. There's several that came out of Tarboro High and Southwest that are doing a internship with Hitachi. So it was very productive, and we're still getting the feedback because employers are still hiring. As a department, we were named a power user for Major Clarity, and Major Clarity is the platform that we use so that all of our students can get a career development plan. And Dr. Batts, is it next year that it's going to start, where all students, not just CTE students, need one, or do you know yet? Okay. But that is in the legislation for all students that come through, starting at 7th grade, have a career development plan, and then by 10th grade, update that plan. So that's why we're starting early. And we were number 3 in North Carolina, behind, I think, Harnett and Granville. So larger, much larger districts, but our percentage was higher. Steps for Growth is one of the things we've been working on this summer. And Steps for Growth, we selected 10 students from the district. The majority of them came from early college, but there's some from early college, Charter High, and Southwest. So right now, every day since school has started, no, since June 5th, I believe. When did school get out? I haven't stopped, so I'm blurred with the dates. But this is at least their 3rd week in session. The first week they were getting their 6 Sigma black belt. They have also earned OSHA 10 certification and Working Smart certification. At the end of the summer, they will also get a stipend. They will be able to work with different businesses that will take them to the business and also come and start teaching them how to work on clean energy vehicles. And it's a collaboration between ECPS, ECC, and North Carolina A&T. This collaboration is Carolina Gateway Partnership, ECC, and Edgecombe County Public Schools. And I think you all know most of the people pictured. And this has been going on simultaneously with the what was the last one?
Gateway.
Steps for Growth program. So this is College Academy, which has seemed to morph into Working Edge Academy. Here you have Dr. Betts presenting on the left and the right, and in the middle is a group that we were speaking to. The left was at Southwest, the right and the middle is North Edgecombe. We started out with about 125 students that said they didn't have a plan once they graduated. So we reached out to them, we gave them individual invites, the counselors and the career development coordinators worked with them, talked to them. We met with those that came out. About 39 signed up. 21 ended up getting the OSHA 10 certification during the week of exams. Last week they finished doing the Working Smart, and 14 of them gained a Working Smart and OSHA 10 certification. And all of this was through outside funding, because the employers see the need for the credentials and for soft skills, and so that they can get employees. They had on-site interviews. 6 companies had committed to come. 3 ended up showing up. And out of those 3, I'm not sure yet who has, because that was just Thursday. But I do know it looks very promising for those students to gain employment as well. On the right is what's upcoming. Our Summer Career Accelerator, once again, will be the week of July 10th through the 13th and the week of 24th through 27th. Those program areas were chosen based on certifications, because Summer Career Accelerator, or PRC 188, as Amy Pierce loves to call it, those are to earn credentials, to increase the credentials of the students. So that's why we chose the pathways that we have chosen. On the left, I just wanted to show you, I don't know if you had noticed on most of the slides that CTE logo has been on it. That was created by a student. And we had a competition, and these were the winner and the runner-up. The winner actually was a runner-up as well. He did the top one and the one in the middle. And that's just the Summer Career Accelerator. And these are our career development coordinators, and myself, our CIMC, and Dr. Betts, our director. Any questions?
Mrs. Hedgepeth, and I know you have most of the, we offer most of the prerequisites who go to the Innovation Center out at Community College, right?
Correct.
Now, other than the health that we used, health careers thing that used to have at Tarver High, so great. Because of lack of teachers, did I hear you say that that's moved out there?
To the community college, yes.
If we get a teacher, will we bring it back?
We won't bring the practicum part back. We may or may not. Not at first, because I want the teacher to learn to teach first.
Sure, absolutely.
But definitely, they would still take it there, and if, that teacher can handle the work, however many students come through that pathway, plus the practicum, yes, we would bring that back.
But that used to be the flagship over there, really, that program. It was amazing.
And I was a health science teacher, so I really want that to come back. Yes.
I just want to say, I'm very excited about this. I mean, I think it's wonderful that the kids that don't really have, all the kids that are not bound for a four-year college or university, we have a plan for everyone in our system, which I believe is the philosophy of everything we do, that we move every child as far as we can or where they want to go. And I think it's great that we're creating opportunities to put people to work and to let them find a passion. And I'll give you just a 2-minute blurb. I had a son, I didn't think I was ever going to get him out of Tarver High School. Raymond had him. He was a handful. He didn't want to go to school. I put him at the community college for an afternoon class in facilities maintenance right after the flood, and he started building habitat houses. He's now a contractor. He makes more money than the other 3 children put together, and probably his daddy and mom. But he found his little place, and I think his niche. And I think this is what it does, is it gives kids opportunities outside of what their parents do at home to see something that might make a future and support to support them and give them a good lifestyle. I would love to see us look for things to put people in some more of the trades in the future. If you live in this area and you try to find an electrician or a plumber, they are so hard to find. And I don't know how to do that, I'll be honest with you, but that's something I would love to see us. I mean, I look at what Pitt Community College does, and that's where he ended up going. I mean, when he came home one day, he said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Pitt. I'm going to be a contractor. It's that little, he found it one day. And I think so many of our children, when they go into the animal sciences and they start working with the animals, or they're in the health field and something new opens up for them, it's creating a future for them, and I think it's beautiful.
Well, we do have facility maintenance, construction, and electrician at Southwest. They literally come to the school.
Well, if we could get something to get these kids to the point they could take that state test.
Working on construction at Tarver High as well.
Okay, great. Well, I was writing down all the programs because I think it's wonderful, and I'm so glad to see this program grow. You've done a great job with it.
Thank you.
It's exciting to see it in Income County because it's really grown, like you say, it's growing, and it's sometimes kids, all they need to see is the possibility. And with the things that you all are doing, it's covering such a wide range, and so kids can find themselves. So I just commend you for it. It's just really exciting to see you all doing all those different kinds of offering those kind of opportunities so kids can have choices.
We'll keep an eye out on us over the summer at Summer Career Accelerator and look for our robot dogs.
Dr. B, Councilman Woodard, who keeps calling us, communicating about this, he actually needs to talk to Mrs. Hedbeth. He, as our lead pastor, he doesn't contact us about this very same thing. So we need to refer him to Mrs. Hedbeth. She has the answer to it.
It's really exciting.
And he's excited about it. And you can probably he can get some funding from the town. Yeah, all right.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Good job, thank you. Absolutely.
No wonder you were there till 8:30 last night.
Right.
Okay, 86B. No, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah.
Oh,
You've
excuse
heard
me.
that presentation. Any other questions or comments, Ms. Hedgebeck?
I do. I have a comment. I'm not sure who has it, but the signature page for our local plan. Okay. Thank you.
It's there.
Dr. Baxter.
It's there. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the career technical education state federal funding for the fiscal year 2022, 23, 24.
Second.
You've heard the motion and second for the approval of the application for CTE, state federal 23-24. You've heard that motion and second. And further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. I was carried away with the presentation. 8.6B, Ms. Sykes.
Good evening, Board Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and other members of the Board, and Superintendent Dr. Bridges. I'm here tonight to request approval between Kinetic and Edgecombe County Board of Education to provide speech services for our EC department in the amount of $391,110.
Questions or comments? All right, hearing none, we need a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the contract between the Edgecombe County Board of Education and Kinetic Physical Therapy and Wellness for speech therapy services for 2023-2024 school year.
Motion and second for the approval of the contract between Edgecombe County Board of Ed and Kinetic Physical Therapy and Wellness Incorporated. You've heard that motion and second. Any further discussion, questions, or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by using the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposers, like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. Ms. Sykes, you're still up.
Yes, sir. The next contract you will see is also with Kinetic, and that is to provide occupational therapy for our EC students in the amount of $223,620.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, we hear a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the contract between the Edgecombe County Board of Education and Kinetic Physical Therapy and Wellness for occupational therapy service for the 23-24 school year.
Second.
Motion and second for the approval of the contract between Edgecombe County Board of Ed and Kinetic Physical Therapy and Wellness Incorporated as presented. You heard that motion and second. Any further questions or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by saying, using the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposers, like sign. Ayes have it, that motion carried. Ms. Sykes is still up.
The next contract you will see will be with Kinetic Mobility, and that is to provide physical therapy services in the amount of $115,000.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, do we hear a motion?
I make a motion to approve the contract between Edgecombe County Board of Education and Creative Mobility to provide physical therapy for the 23-24 year.
Second.
You've heard the motion and second for the approval of the contract between Edgecombe County Board of Ed and Creative Mobility. You've heard that motion and second. Any further questions or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by using the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposers, like sign. Ayes have it, that motion carried. Ms. Sykes, you're still up.
All right, and the last contract you will see is also with Kids Speak, and that is also for speech therapy services. I know you see 2 speech therapies there. This therapist provides our lead speech services, and that is in the amount of $102,000.
Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, do we have
I
more?
have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I noticed in the contract that 109 Warrington Court, is that located on Edgecombe on that side of the track in Rockford?
For Kids Speak,
Yes.
it is, I don't know. It is right there in the offices. I'd have to go visit there. I can't remember. I think it's on Nash side of the tracks.
Just on, barely on Nash side.
It's in those offices that are right there at the train
Across
station.
that main street.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. But she actually works in our schools every day. That's just her office that she has there, but she actually works in our schools.
About how many students does she serve?
She is currently serving Southwest, South, Harbor High. She probably serves about 45 students. They can have up to 50 students. I try to keep the speech therapists around 40, just for kids that transfer like in and out. And it also, our contractors say that like we're the easiest to keep staff because we do that. But she also does provide our lead therapy services, and she's going to begin monitoring all of our related services next year just to make sure we're in compliance.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Ms. Sykes, how many in-house speech therapists do we have?
We have Tina, 4. Tina, Leslie, Mandy, 3. We have 3. But Shonda, the lead speech pathologist, she's been with us for as long as I've been here, so 14 years. So we have 3.
Other questions or comments? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the contract between the Edgecombe County Board of Education and the Kids Speak for speech language pathology service for the 23-24 school year.
Second.
Motion and second for the approval of the contract between Edgecombe County Board of Ed and Kids Speak Incorporated. You've heard that motion and second. Are there any further questions or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by using the voting sign aye.
Aye.
Opposers like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. Thank you, Ms. Sykes. All right. 810. Ms. Pierce.
Good evening, Board Chair, Reverend Privet, Madam Vice Chair, Dr. Wilson, board members, Superintendent Dr. Bridges. I come before you this evening requesting the sole source approval for Coker Wembley Elementary School for the number lab. They are looking to continue to work with them beginning in the next school year to provide professional development services. One of those services will be attending their number lab conference, so the cost will include the registration cost for that. Also, having virtual sessions where they are working with their staff in the beginning of August to begin preparing staff as they open the new year so they can start off strong, especially also thinking about new staff that may be coming in to train them on the numbers lab methodology. And so part of the request comes from the Numbers Lab has created this methodology for math instruction, and so they are the only service provider for this methodology. Also, it is a request to continue the services that they've already done with Numbers Lab over the past 3 years through their Innovative Partnership Grant. So our request is for the board to approve services in the amount of $29,200 as a sole source provider. Numbers Lab as a sole source provider for their services with PRC 115, the Innovative Partnership Grant.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, go ahead.
I'm slow because I was trying to turn back my sheet to see what I had to ask. How many teachers are involved? Are they only at Coker Wembley?
So we do have different schools throughout the district that have worked with Numbers Lab. This particular contract would be for Coker Wembley. Those schools decide to use their school allocation of funds. And so I think we have 5 or 6, I'm kind of looking around, of schools that are currently doing work with the Numbers Lab. Yes, ma'am. Yes, we have approved some. So we just recently had 2 schools, Carver and Bullock, that attended their training in Georgia. And so we have 2 schools that are attending their training in Dallas in the end of July, August, and another school that's looking to do that. But because Coker, they were trying to get ahead of the game, because the total cost they knew would be over $10,000 for the fiscal year in the beginning, they just went on and worked out a contract that included all of those services so we could present it in one contract to the board for approval.
So since we've had it, have we seen a lot of improvement with our math?
Great question. So most of our schools were just in their first year completing training this year, and so we are still collecting our data. We also have new curriculum being implemented this year, middle and high school, and then next year we'll have a new math curriculum. So as a district, we'll be looking at all the new data as we begin to do our applications for next year and start to determine what those impacts are from those. But we've had a lot of positive feedback from the schools implementing, and when you go in and see it in action, you just see the kids completely engaged in the methodology of learning.
Good.
I'm great.
Other questions or comments? Hearing none, do we have motion?
So motion to approve the services provided by the number lab and the summer service.
Second. Oh, you
To provide professional development and mathematics and core instruction services in the amount of $29,200 to Cocoa Wheels and PRC and Department give grant funds.
Motion and second for the approval of services provided by the numbers lab as presented. That's sole source. You've heard that motion and second. Any further discussion, questions, or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let me know by using the voting sign aye. Opposers like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. Thank you, Ms. Pierce. All right, 8.11, Madam.
Good evening, Board Chair, my name is Vice Chair, Board Members, Superintendent Dr. Bridges. I'm excited to be before you tonight. Which one's first? Okay. To present to you our MOU and our contracts between the Board of Education and Edgecombe County Sheriff's Office for the 2023-24 school year. Please note that your documents include not only our MOU, but also the contract for our SROs, as well as the contract for our off-duty officers, which reflects the change in pay from $30 to $40 per hour this year. At this time, I am seeking board approval of the MOU and contract between the board and the Sheriff's Office for the 2023-24 school year beginning July 1 and ending June 30th, 2024.
Questions or comments? Is that difference in the one that we had last year, basically about the same?
$10. Per hour.
What I needed to ask, I'm trying to
Go
find,
ahead.
I'm trying to speed the meeting up. I'm not trying to prolong it, but I can't find it. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a long contract, isn't it, darling?
It is, yeah, it's several in here together. I'm sorry.
I've gotten to my question.
Okay.
As I noticed, it's way back in the contract, page don't number, so I can't do that.
All right.
As I noticed, we have 9 schools where we have the service. And if I am reading correctly somewhere else, but we only have 6 SROs serving those 9 schools. Did I interpret that correctly?
That is correct. So this
All right.
particular part is for our contract for actual school resource officers, which is provided by the school safety grant that we get from the state every year. That only allows for middle and elementary coverage. The state then gives us additional funding to fund our high schools. So with every high school comes a school resource officer position. So this contract is specifically just for those schools. In the past years, we have been using off-duty officers to rotate through our high schools. Sheriff is working to make sure that we can keep the same person there here on out, with his staffing needs, and I think he has since posted recruiting some retired officers. But yes, specifically that is just for those middle and elementary schools. And it's actually not even 6, it's 5 that serve all of those schools because they split schools. Yes, ma'am.
So they have to do more than one school.
They do, and that is not on us. Unfortunately,
Right.
that's a staffing issue with the sheriff's office, but again, they're trying some different advertising and some incentives to try to beef up their pool of deputies.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Questions or other comments?
I have a question. Does the police department doesn't help us with that? That's a whole can of worms.
Yes, that's it.
We'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, but they are in conversation. The new police chief has reached out to
Gotcha.
support.
I just wondered because we had some that are in town. I know we have more in town than we probably had. We could have people, but I didn't know
We'll talk about
Now,
that.
and just a shout out to them, they do drive-throughs for our city schools whenever there's events happening in the community or we know of heightened, security issues, they will go through if we just give a call.
Last question.
Okay.
So out here, where they serve, whatever tenure they have is $40. Period.
Period. That's for
Don't care
the
what the rate is, anything is $40.
$40.
That's all
Here's
I
all that's in
need.
town of
Okay,
Colorado.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you.
Other questions or comments? Hearing none, do we hear a motion?
Recommend the approval of the SRO review between Edgecombe County Board of Education and Edgecombe County Sheriff Department for year 2023.
Second.
Motion second for the approval of SRO MOU between Edgecombe County Board of Ed and the Edgecombe County Sheriff's Department for the year 23-24. You've heard that motion second. Any further discussion or unreadiness? Hearing none. Those in favor, let it be known by using the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposers like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. Dr. Valerie, still open.
Yes. In the next item, I am here to request approval for the purchase of the Evolve Express Walkthrough Weapon Detection Scanners that I shared with you a couple of months ago in the meeting for 13 school sites, and to award that bid to Alliance Technology Group in the amount of $1,462,301.23. Based on, we had one bid that went through, but then based on our funding source and the use of our ESSER funds, we were told in order to have that approved, we needed to include a monitored elevated temperature detection. And so we put it back out for bid, adding that component, meaning that it had to be able to sense, somebody came through with, I guess, 100 or higher temperature. Since that was a mandatory requirement to use those grant funds. The bids were solicited and listed, as you can see below. Alliance Technology Group was not the lowest bid, but it has all of the components requested in the bid, including the artificial intelligence that I showed you that circles where the potential threat is located on the person walking through, as well as they were able to offer us the elevated temperature devices for a minimal cost to their bid.
Questions or comments?
Just got a question. When do we think these will be released?
So they're chomping at the bit. They text me and said, we're in North Carolina this week, can we come by? I said, it has not been board approved yet. So I will reach out to them this evening, should it be board approved, and they're in North Carolina. They said they could swing through and go to the other sites that they have not visited. When they were here before to do a demonstration for us, they only visited the 3 traditional high schools, so they're interested in going to the other sites that we select.
At our conference, at our national conference, and at our local, not local, but state conference, I did chat with some of the systems that are using this, and they are excited. They said, you all need to get it. They're excited. I'm chatting with people. Other questions or comments? Hearing none, do we hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the purchase of Evolve Express Walkthrough Weapons Detection Scanners for 13 school sites and to award the bid to Alliance Technology in the amount of $1,462,301.23.
Motion and second for the approval for the purchase of Evolve Express Walkthrough Weapons Detection Scanners as presented. You've heard that motion and second. Any further discussion, questions, or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by the saying aye. Aye. Opposers like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. 8:13, Dr. Dove.
Distinguished Board Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Superintendent, and board members. I'm standing before you to request approval to purchase Studies Weekly as a supplemental curriculum to support ELA as a sole source in the amount of $75,343.63 with Title I funds. Studies Weekly is a supplemental curriculum that supports ELA by providing access to nonfiction literature, and it also supports our social studies standards.
Questions or comments for Dr. Good? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the purchase of supplemental curriculums to support ELA provided by Studies Weekly as a sole source in the amount of $75,343.63.
Motion and second for the approval of the purchase of supplemental curriculum to support ELA and as presented. Okay. You've heard that motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposers like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. Thank you. All right, Dr. Doug, you're still up.
Yes, sir. So I am back here to talk about the preschool proposal for the 23-24 school year for pre-K3 and pre-K4. We have Ms. Renee Johnson, who's back in Edgecombe County, and she is our new preschool coordinator. I'm going to ask her to join me up here at the podium this evening as we go through this proposal for the 23-24 school year. So right now, we have a 3-year-old program, and we want to continue to have a preschool program to meet the needs of our families while maintaining compliance with our funding source. So this past year, we had a pre-K3 classroom at Stocks Elementary that was funded by ESSER. We had a slot for we had 18 slots at the school. At the highest, we filled 10. At the lowest, it was 5 students in the classroom. We have pre-K4 classrooms at Coker Wimberley, GW Bullock, GW Carver, Princeville, and Stocks. At each of those classrooms, we had 11 classrooms with about 3 3-year-old slots per classrooms, with a total of 33 3-year-old slots total for the 22-23 school year. So now we're going to go through what our NC pre-K guidelines are. So for NC pre-K, the child must be 4 years old on or before August 31st of the program year. They have guidelines that certain military families are eligible without regard to income. Also, you can look at it and see that a child from a family whose gross income is below 75% of the state median income. In addition, if you have families that have an income that's higher, as long as it's not in excess of 75%, and they have significant delays, they can also be qualified for NC pre-K.
So our Title I guidelines for preschool eligibility. Title I funds can be used to provide services for children birth to preschool, and that is defined as before eligibility for kindergarten. With Title I, age does not determine eligibility. Educational need determines eligibility, and so when we look at eligibility for Title I, we use multiple criteria, which includes a developmental screening, parent information, and teacher observations. You must serve the most at risk of failure to meet state academic standards upon entering kindergarten, regardless of age. All children are screened using the developmental screening, and they're placed on a rank order list beginning with children that demonstrate the greatest educational need.
Okay, so what do we know? We know that for Title I eligibility, all preschool applicants, 3 and 4-year-olds, is determined using a multiple criteria ranking system. And as we stated before, that's with the interviews, teacher observations, and information that you get from families. And so you put them on a ranking order, and those showing the greatest needs, of course, they are the first children to get chosen. So all 4-year-old applications are sent to Down East. None of the 3-year-old applications can go to Down East. It's 4-year-olds, because that determines funding for NC pre-K. So any funding for the DEPC is determined by the number of NC pre-K slots that are filled. We as a community, Edgecombe County Public School, we enter into a contract with Down East Partnership every year for a certain number of slots to be filled. And I think it's for each child that we have that comes from Edgecombe County is $496 that they get. And so they depend on us to fill some of our NC pre-K slots. Slots that are not filled with eligible 4-year-olds can be reallocated to other NC pre-K schools, and that would be daycares, private daycares in the area, which would cause us to lose funding. Okay, so we're standing before you again with another proposal for our child care. We want to make sure that we maintain compliance with our funding sources. We want to ensure that we have consistent funding, and we are committed to providing services to 3- and 4-year-old children, and we want to continue our partnership with Downey's Partnership for Children. So we have two options on the table that we were looking at based on the information that we know now. Because we are committed to continuing to serve pre-K students in the classroom, we have a proposal on the table for pre-K 3 classroom to be at Stocks Elementary and to serve 3-year-olds from across the district with the funding source of ESSER. The cost for a teacher is $55,915.02. The cost for a teacher assistant is $41,378.52, with a total of $97,293.54, and we would ask for that from ESSER funding. Option 2, let me go through the pros and cons for option 1. Go ahead.
So for option 1, the pros would be the continuation of preschool services to 3-year-old children. You would be able to maintain consistent funding through NC Pre-K from month to month. You would be compliant with Title I preschool standards and procedures, and this allows us to use the 23-24 school year to develop a sustainable, compliant plan to serve 3-year-old children across the district that eliminates the risk of losing funding. Some of the cons would be that we would serve less 3-year-olds across the district, and this is potentially a short-term solution.
So option 2 is that we would use the rank order form for the process for 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds based on Title I guidelines and serve children, all children, in the 11 classrooms we have across the district. If we do that, there's a potential fiscal impact to the district depending on the number of eligible 3-year-old students that we serve in our program. We do not receive NC Pre-K funding for 3-year-olds, and additional Title I funds will need to be allocated to sustain this option. So when you look at the pros and cons for this, the pros are you continue your preschool services for 3-year-olds in the district for this year. You're compliant with the Title I preschool standards and procedures. Cons, we have that possibility of losing NC Pre-K funding dependent upon the number of eligible 3-year-olds. It's inconsistent funding from year to year, and we will need additional Title I funding to offset NC Pre-K funding not received due to serving 3-year-olds. And the other con to that would be the relationship with Downey's Partnership. So based on this information, we are, recommending or requesting the board to approve option 1 for the NC for pre-K 3, pre-K 4 proposal, that we continue to serve our 3-year-olds within the district using ESSER funds in the amount of $97,293.54, and that will allow us to continue serving our 3-year-olds and bring them all to one center and hire a certified teacher and a teacher assistant.
Questions or comments? Yes, ma'am.
I have always run on the platform of early intervention, which I believe in 100%. It alarms me that we have 18 slots and 3 children. I don't understand. Is that correct? No, 5. 5 children at the lowest, 10 at the highest. With the needs we have in our exceptional children's program in our community and children who start behind. What can we do? Because I really can't support either one of these based on what I've heard tonight. I want to know what you're going to do, and I'm not trying to be ugly, to reach out in our community and find these children. If we're going to fund them, that's $100,000 for 5 children. It's $20,000 a child that I think our school system could use better, and I don't like to be negative. but I really think there's a need for this. How are we going to go out in the community and get more children in this program to make it beneficial? Because I would say I would try my hardest to come up with 10 times that amount of money if we were serving children. I mean, the need is huge in our community. And I mean, you go into your first day of kindergarten, I don't want to get on a soapbox and take everybody's time up. The first day of school, you've got the kid who can write their name, his or her name, and a child who can sit in a chair and cut with scissors, and then you have a child who doesn't even know how to follow directions. We've got to do a better job. And secondly, and I have a grandchild who's an exceptional child, and so I am very sensitive to this. Years ago, we had someone in our system who went to the hospital when a child was born. Can we help with that? With a low APGAR scale. And it was Debbie Pace, and she followed those children, and from day one, what can our system do to meet the needs of your child? And we gave them preschool and making sure that there was a connection with nutrition. And I mean, I'm passionate about this, as you can tell, and I'm going to cut it off quick. But what can we do to ensure that we can fill up those slots? And if you can assure me that we can fill up those slots, then I can support anything you bring to me. But 5 children with 18 slots, I think that's a waste of our money.
So, and to answer your question, you asked what we could do better. I will agree that we missed the marketing opportunities last year for the 3-year-old program. We've already began to change some of that. Ms. Johnson has been out to the field days, to the schools. We've had rallies at the school already for preschool. We haven't taken 3-year-old applications yet because we needed to come before the board and see what we could do as a district. But we have ideas and we're ready to go with what we need to do. We've already emailed and spoken to our family partnership gentlemen and said we need your help with making sure that we are going into the communities, that we're going into the churches, that we're going to, the families to say, if you have 3-year-olds that are eligible to come in, we're putting them on the ranking list to ensure that we get those 18 slots filled.
I have a comment. I had talked to a couple of people that try to get their daughter in, and then I've had direct contact with an individual that tried to get a 3-year-old in, and there was no success in doing so.
At the Stocks program?
At the Stocks program.
I can't speak to it because it never came across my desk.
I will get that information from that individual to get in contact with you and that you discuss it with them why those 2 kids could not get in. I actually had them come to me and said they tried to get into stock and they said it was a waiting period and they never got their kids in.
But there wasn't a waiting period this year, so I'm not sure.
I don't know what was.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that happened, but I can assure you this year that we're ready to start taking them in, putting them on ranking order, and to ensure that we have students at that class.
Because I remember approving it earlier for the 3-year-olds at Stock. That's what baffled me when they come to me and said they couldn't get their students in.
Yes.
But we'll talk.
Yes, ma'am.
Can we look into starting to identify some children early on and give them services? I mean, we're going to save money in the end if we throw it in the beginning. I believe that 100%.
I'm convinced that the children are there. We just need to find them, and the resource person is going to help you all, Zaid, and some more people. I also maybe have this person. I've chatted with about 3 people, at least 3, who did try to get in and could not get in, and I'll get those names to you.
Please do.
The kids are here. We need to serve them. They're here. We can get them.
And I think when you focus now, you've got a real clear focus. That's the concern that we have.
Yes,
We are meeting the needs in the community because they're out there. And your plan, which sounds like a good plan, that I think we should begin to fill slots.
Yeah, we can get them. It's a matter of you checking with those people and making sure that they are following your guidelines, and they don't just put these people off. Now, a couple of kids, I'm talking about 5 of them, a couple of them are in the process of potty training their kid. They're about 90% there. Those kids have to be potty trained. That was 2 of them, but I got 3 more. So the kids are there. We just need to find them. The kids come in with 2-word vocabulary, both of them are bad. And we need to do something because we aren't going to get going to where we are unless we do that in public at the front.
Did you say they have to be potty broken to go?
Yes, they do.
No, they do not. They do not.
Well, somebody told these people that the 3 that I've talked to that they had to be potty trained.
It's great if they are.
They told them that they could not accept. As a matter of fact, as late as yesterday, I talked to 2 people, and they said, I said, well, work on it, get busy. They said they can't come in unless they're potty trained. There are 2 people yesterday that I talked to. So confirm with those people.
I can say from my perspective, I'm a big proponent of early education and early intervention. I was here in the district previously for about 20 years, and I'm just coming back in January. And I will be glad to talk to any parent and reach out and have conversations. And so I'm not sure if they went to the school level to try to make application, or whether they had a call, but I'll be glad to talk to any parent, any family. And
what's your name?
My name is Renee Johnson. I'm sorry.
I remember Renee.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good to have you. But we do need to set up some. I would advise to set up some parents, some interest meetings and some site visits and some things of that nature. We can get that going. But these kids are in our community. They are.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to have, there's a 3-year-old program in Rock Mountain. We don't need to send our kids over there.
Right.
We don't want to send them over there.
I think the 4-year-old ended up in Rocky Mountain.
Yeah.
I think you've heard the information now, so I think what you see what you're dealing with. So the basics of it is you make the plan work. I mean, just paper's not going to give. Just reach out to principals and everybody and get people actively involved because they're out there.
If you ladies are heading this up and I see the excitement in both of you, and your board is excited about it, your board wants it, so it's a go for us. So we can get those kids, we're going to get those slots filled. Because I look at the community, I'm all over the place, and we don't need to let our kids, if they don't get into this program, and our school's gonna always be behind. We'll never catch up. And that's not on you, but we'll work together.
It's not, and I apologize, but I am just passionate about this.
We do need to know that. They need to know it, because they're getting it on the back end. The kids are here, so we're gonna get it done. Whatever I need to do, I'll take off my tie and roll up my sleeves.
We'll recruit Miss Privet too. How about that?
Yeah, okay.
The only thing I'd add is we said ESSER, and so we want to make sure we have available funds in ESSER. But if not, I think we can find another funding source. So I'm okay with that as long as that's okay with our attorney.
I'll have to take a look at it, but
I'm glad we had this conversation because I actually thought we were all ready to go with 100 of them. I'm glad they brought that up, really.
Well, I've been thinking about it when I saw the numbers tonight, and the potty training bothered me too because I think if we're
potty train.
Well, no, not everybody. I mean, you may have an EC child who's going to always be in pull-ups or something. And the other ones you need this program too.
You know, and parents have to get up and get something done too, man. Don't put it all on our people. Don't put it all on our people. The parent got responsibility too. They need to get up, move. And preachers too. I'll get charged with the preachers here.
Well, EC, that's the kids we want to pull in this program.
Other questions or comments?
It's a great job.
Okay. All right. We've heard that in Seth's presentation. Do we have motion?
I'm going to make that motion since I made the big stink. I'd like to make a motion for the approval of the Edgecombe County Public Schools 2023-24 Child Care Plan Option 1.
Option 1.
Second.
And we'll
be open with the funding source.
And we'll be open with the funding source if we can't use ESSER funds.
Okay.
And I'm looking in the back at the financial lady right now to see if she's smiling.
Yes.
No, you're not
She smiled, she just covered it up. Thank you, ladies.
You said that, I kept thinking back to see her face.
Second amendment.
Oh, the motion was second. All right, you've heard the motion, this second. Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Ayes have it, that motion carries. We got some work to do. All right, and we'll get the work done. 8.15. That's, Ms. Pierce.
And I'll get out of here. With the ESSER update, what we are doing now is, if you remember, ESSER is now 3 years in, right? And so we budgeted strategies 2 and 3 years ago, and as we're coming to the close, we may not have spent as much in a strategy as we budgeted out 2 years. So we're in the process of reconciling out from this fiscal year and then seeing where the money's remaining. And so we will bring to the board probably August or so an update of where we're at in our new budget for next year. So we should have that to y'all soon.
When is ESSER actually over? September?
Well, one of our groups ended ESSER 1. All of those ended actually September 30th and we liquidated that. ESSER 2, the last day for encumbrance is September 30th of this year. We have to liquidate in January, and then all ESSER 3 is September 30th of next year. So as you can imagine, it's multiple ESSERs we're working with and moving
We
around.
got quite much money out there waiting.
Oh, yes. We spent a lot, though, so that's great.
We got the black September. Mr. Perkins, I guess his stuff is coming through. $10 million out there for him. Oh, that's good, okay.
Yes, yes. Once it's encumbered, it's good. We just we have a longer period to liquidate, so, yep.
Okay, good enough.
All right, so I come before you again this evening to request the board approval of services provided by the Avid Center as a sole source for registration costs for the Avid Summer Institute, with funds provided by PRC 171 ESSER 2 in the amount of $24,150. And I come for our curriculum team. We have identified 5 schools this school year, for this coming up school year, to implement Avid strategies. And as part of that, there is a 3-day institute that Avid provides during the summer for school-based teams to receive training on those strategies, as well as to be able to work as teams, develop implementation plans. So our request is to pay for that summer institute participation for the end of June for that. So again, our recommendation is that the board approve the services provided by the Avid Center as a sole source, as they are the only company that provides the training, since they own the rights of Avid, for registration costs for the Avid Summer Institute in the amount of $24,150 using PRC 171.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, do we get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Board Member Kent, second by Board Member Worski. You've heard that motion in second. Any further questions on readiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by using the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposers like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. Thank you, ma'am. All right. Okay. Board Member Worski, would you take us into the closed session?
I make a motion under the North Carolina Open Meeting Law, section 143-1318.11, A1, A3, and A6 to go into closed session to consider personnel matters and to consult with the attorney to preserve attorney-client privilege information and disclosure of personnel records rendered confidential under General Statute 115C through 319 through 321.
Second.
A motion and second for us to go into closed session as presented of the North Carolina Open Meetings Law. You've heard that motion second. Any further discussion? Those in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Ayes have it. That motion carries. We'll take 5. Elevate Edgecombe at the community college, and I said, one of us need to go over there to that raise, that thing, and I'll stay here, because I needed to, we had students there, we had teachers there, I needed to support them, and the community has a way of trying to eat them up. I need to battle.
Ready?
Okay, all right. Actually, we are at 10.1, personnel management. If we reviewed it, do I hear a motion?
Offer motion that we approve our personnel management. Second.
Motion and second that we approve the personnel management and reviewed in closed session. You've heard that motion and second. Any further discussion?
Yes, I'd like to recuse myself from voting on this.
Yes. You just did one. Accuse yourself from that one name.
One name, yes, sir.
And we get it. All right. Those in favor, let me know by saying aye, accept that one name.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. All right. Action 10.1.2, teacher contracts and renewals as discussed in closed session.
And I would recuse myself from that one.
Okay. That one name. All right. Is there a motion?
Offer motion that we approve the teacher contract.
Motion and second that we approve the teacher contracts and non-renewals and as stated, discussed in closed session. You've heard that motion and second. Those in favor, let me know by saying aye, except that one name.
Aye.
Opposers, like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. 10.1.3, closed session minutes. Did we find any? We didn't. We'll have a motion to accept them.
I make a motion to accept our closed session minutes for May the 8th. And do I want to do 25th?
Yeah.
And 25th. Regular May the 8th, regular business closed session minutes, and May 25th, personnel meeting closed session minutes.
Second.
Motion and second for the approval of the minutes, closed session minutes of May 8th and May 25th. You've heard that motion and second. And further discussion. Those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. Board correspondence. Do I have any items more about superintendent or board members? Okay, none. And then we have motion for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second for adjournment. You've heard that motion. Second and further discussion. Those in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Opposers, like sign. Ayes have it, that motion carried. Thank you all. Well, good meeting. 28. 28.